there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, this is Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative and a lot of other bands, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. And today it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome my buddy Johnny Kelly of Typo Negative, and he's also sat behind the kit for the following bands: Danzig for nearly 2 decades. So that's impressive for Danzig. Johnny has also performed with was a Black Label, looks like, and a Pale Horse Named Death, Kill Devil Heal, and currently now with Quiet Riot, Silvertomb, and now Patriarchs In Black. And Patriarchs In Black have released their first single, Demon of Regret, with Kerry Agel. I know I botched his name on vocals, right. And Dave Carl Agel on vocals, and Dave Niebuhr from Dog Eat Dog, and on bass we have he's on bass, and then plus they're signed on MDD Records. So we're welcome to Mr. the well-traveled Johnny Kelly, as I call him today. So how you doing, man? Welcome back to the show, bro.
Thanks, man. How's it going?
Doing good. Glad to have you back on here. How excited are you to have this single released right now, Demon of Regret, so far?
This has really been something that's moving really fast. Like Dan's really, he's a mover and a shaker. I'm not used to things like, moving that quickly. I have to be honest about it. And but it's cool. Really, it started out innocently enough where, there really wasn't any expectations and stuff. And it was just a matter of, Dan reached out to me, said he had some riffs and stuff. And if I wanted to, work on them with him. And I was like, yeah, sure. And he sent me some stuff, and I've been putting drum tracks to it. I was in the studio today. And from there, it was, he had asked me, he was like, who do you want to get as a singer? And I was like, look, to be honest, I was like, I said, I'm in enough bands. I don't want to be a part of another, band thing where, I said to him, I was like, what about doing something where we just, we get just different players just to play on everything, why have it locked into, just a specific, group of people? Mm-hmm. Why don't we, there was no expectations of anything. It was just a matter of just, putting some songs together and just having fun with it. So, and that's kind of like where we went so far. And Carl has really he's really been into it as far as doing his tracks, with Demon of Regret. He did a really cool job with it too. And I just sent him another song, I think day before yesterday. Sent him something that I kind of finished, something that he could work with, at home. And so everything's being done remote also, because I'm in Texas, Dan's in New Jersey. I don't even know where Carl lives. I have no idea. Not a clue. He's somewhere. So everything's been going like that, sending tracks, finishing, start something else, finish that up, and then send that back out. I when I'm done with it, I send it to the producer, the guy that's been, is going to produce the record, like mixing and mastering and stuff. So I just send everything to him. And so that's really where it started from. And Dan at that point was like, we could probably like get a deal, doing this. Like, okay, have at it.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want, however you see, whatever however you see fit.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just been a lot of that. And reached out to a couple of friends of mine, and seeing if friends want to play on the record, because obviously there's no money in it. This
right.
isn't, we're not gonna, this isn't any kind of like retirement plan or anything. There's no money really to be made.
Yeah.
And so being that it isn't a money making, venture or anything, it was like, let's just try to have the most fun possible. So I'm just trying to reach out to friends of mine that I've played with in the past, or people that I never worked with at all, or there isn't, to me, there just really isn't much of an agenda like that. So kind of like what Dave Grohl did with Probot.
Yeah.
The only thing that's a constant between everything so far is Dan and
I gotta ask you though, man, I know you play in several bands. Do you like having the freedom to play in these other bands and not be tied down to just one band only?
Well, it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
I mean, nothing would be better than to, like as far as like, having like a steady gig, like where I was in one band and that was enough where I could afford to earn a living and, be able to live and just work with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the hustle of making things happen is kind of that's gotten a little old.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side of it, it is fun to get the opportunity to play with other people, do different things. Sometimes it's kind of like feast or famine. There'll be times where I'll be home for, weeks or months, not doing anything. And then everything will happen all at once. And it's like, you're going from this show, playing with Kill Devil Hill, get on a plane, get off the plane, go play with Quiet Riot, finish that show, go somewhere else. And that can get pretty crazy.
Sure.
And, but at the same time, it's fun.
I can imagine so, but
it is, it's fun.
Yeah. But like you said,
I love playing. So
sure.
it doesn't really feel like work, because I'd be doing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I get to make some money doing it, which is great.
Oh yeah. So how did you become part of Patriarchs In Black? Did Dan just reach out to you, or did you hear about Dan? Or
yeah, actually it was I've met Dan a couple of times over the years. I mean, I don't know how many times I saw Hades back in the day. It always seemed like Hades was always opening up for Carnivore or Overkill at Lemoore.
Yeah.
And so like I knew who Dan was, and I met him a few times, and he's really good friends. He's good friends with Steve Zing. They live very close to each other. They're both in the same town, and so Dan just reached out to me and was just like, hey, like he would reach out to me every so often, like just a quick hello, stuff like that, stuff for like the magazines that he writes for and things.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just reached out about like doing some songs together, and then it just went from there. Now I talk to Dan every day.
I think he's a phenomenal guitar player, man. He's awesome.
He comes up with a lot of stuff, and he comes up with a lot of it quickly.
Yep.
And then he wants it back quickly.
Hades also opened up for Pantera too when they were up
Did
there.
they?
Yeah.
Hades opened up for everybody. It seemed like every time there was like a national coming through, and they played Lemoore. I'm serious. It was Hades was like one of the main bands that was always opening up for somebody.
That's crazy. That's good though. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Here we are years later, still around. I know I'm good friends with Alan. I've played with Alan a few times over the years and stuff. And, it's those are the only two guys I know from the band, but that was, they're both cool, fun guys to play with and stuff. But this is like a very unique situation that I've been doing with Dan.
How's it been working with him so far on this, Johnny?
So far, I mean, he hasn't complained about anything that I've sent him, so I guess it's been great. No, really, seriously, he likes what I've been doing to the songs. There's been a few times where he was like, "Wow, I never really thought of the song that way."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, do you want me to change it, or like, do you have, are you cool with this or whatever? And he's been really supportive, and he likes what I've been bringing.
Oh yeah, he's very impressed. He's very impressed with your drumming, because this is going to be a 2-part interview. I'm going to have him on the show first, and then I'm going to bring you on next week. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be like a 1-2 punch of Patriarchs in the Black in the face. What I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So, what's impressed or excited you the most about creating this new single with Dan, man, and bringing this thing to life?
Really, the thing that surprised me the most was how quickly it came together. Which was like we did a song with we did a Black Sabbath song, Rob Dukes.
Yep.
And it was maybe a week after I had sent the tracks, and I heard the song on Sirius. I heard it being played on Sirius Radio. I was like, never in my whole career has something moved that quickly.
Lightning in a bottle, my friend. That's the way it works.
Every band that I've worked with, like with Danzig, and it's with Typo. Typo was years in between records. And Silvertomb, that record was recorded like two years before it finally came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing. Like when Kenny and I did the Seventh Void record. That record was done for years before it finally got released. And so like to be in a situation where it was like, it's like, here's the tracks, boom, it's on the radio a week later. That was pretty shocking.
Dan knows his shit, man. He gets shit done. He's the man.
Yeah.
You guys
it's admirable.
Yeah. Did you guys? It was a snow blind you guys covered, right? Am I wrong? Okay, that's what I thought. And
yes, yeah.
You guys got some huge praise from Bill Ward on this too, man. If I'm not mistaken.
No, I sent the song to Bill.
Yeah.
And I was like, check this out. I was like, let me know what you think of it when you get a chance. And he was, he liked it. he goes, the soul of it is something like that. Like the soul of it is there, it was cool. It was cool to get some props from Bill.
I like how you guys did it, man. It was the Patriarchs in Black way, as I should say. You did it your own style.
It's like you want to. I guess it comes from like with Typo, the way that we used to do cover songs. It was like, I mean, a lot of times they weren't even recognizable as the original songs. Like it was always the approach of, if Typo wrote this song, how would it sound? But what we did with Patriarchs with Snowblind, that's a little more traditional, but it still has a little bit of its own thing, instead of it just trying to recreate the song the way that Black Sabbath did.
Yeah, if Summer Breeze doesn't hit you by Typo Negative,
yeah, exactly,
there's something wrong with you, man. If that song can't make you stop and go, whoa.
Right, and you think about it. This song is, if you heard the original, it's nothing like it. No. I mean, the melody line is there, but it's a totally different song.
Yep, that is very true. So true.
Yeah, so that's where I came from, as far as doing cover songs, but sometimes it's fun to just play stuff, just play it in the way that the people that you're playing with, it's going to come across a little different anyway. Like with the Hookers and Blow record that we did, that came out this year, and it was, the whole record's covers.
Yeah.
you know, and it's more along the lines of like, you know, not really doing anything too drastic with the arrangements and stuff, and you know, pretty straightforward.
See, another band that I forgot to add Johnny Kelly in.
Yeah, right.
18,000 bands, folks.
That's the list.
Yeah, Johnny Kelly walked up on. He walked up to the red carpet. He's like, "I'm on the list somewhere down there. Just look."
On paper, the resume is pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, it is, dude. I mean, honestly, now that's for what you've done is very impressive. And I'm not saying it because you're on here and you're my friend, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it's very impressive.
It's kind of all over the place. Like,
yeah,
you take a step back and like, you know, you look at it, like, wow, it's like, you know, it's pretty interesting. You know.
Yeah, you got the drum for Danzig, the mighty Danzig, you know, you got to see that stuff. And
we finally did some shows this summer. We had done a show, and like it had been it was like about 2.5 years since we played a show together.
And if I'm not mistaken,
since Danzig played live, that was, you know, like when we played over the summer. We hadn't played in 2.5 years.
And you were on the 25th anniversary tour, and Doy was on there and did the Misfit stuff, man. I mean, how cool was that shit? You know, and I got to see that. Saw that live.
I made it into the family tree.
That's right, you did.
Like a cockroach. I got in there.
Johnny Kelly's like, I'll get in there some way, damn it. You wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on this album, if you can talk about them possibly, if you know which one's which?
I mean, they're all like weird, like working titles and stuff, like one word things, and you know, like this stuff that's like whatever, like the song I was working on today, it's Sabbathing. You know, who knows what it's going to become? I'm not sure who's singing on it. I think I want to try to get Eric from Pale Horse to play bass on it. When I played in Pale Horse, Eric Morgan, the bass player, and even though we don't play together, I talk to him all the time. So I told him what I told him, and Eddie too from Pale Horse, the guitar player. I was going to I want him to do some solos on the record and stuff. And I told him what was going on, what we're doing. I was like, "You guys want to play on a song?" They were like, "Yeah, sure, I'm in." So, and this Sabbathy song, this song that I was working on today, I was just telling Dan about it too. Dan was like, he wanted to get somebody else, and I was like, you know, because he doesn't know Eric, so we're just like, you know, we're pulling people from like, you know, different circles and stuff, and I was like, Eric would be really good for the song. You know, he would definitely be the guy. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I think, you know, he'll probably play on it. Eric doesn't know this yet. But I think Eric will probably play bass on this one. So I would like, you know, as I said previously, you know, there really wasn't much of an agenda. I'm just trying to have fun with it.
Sure.
And so that, you know, it'd be fun to like, you know, do a song with Eric again, and because we only did a couple of songs in Pale Horse together. And but I always, you know, when we were touring and stuff, I always loved playing with them. And you know, we've been friends since we were teenagers. And you know, he's from back then, you know, way back. And I just think, you know, knowing his style of playing and stuff, he'll crush it.
It's kind of like a family thing, like you said, man. Like, you know, you're in this band, you can jet out to this band, and this bass player can get in this bass. You know, I like how the revolving door just always happens. If you need somebody, there's always somebody there, you know, specifically can just feel right on in, man. That's
it's tough finding people that'll do it for no money.
Very true. Very true. Oh,
you know, true. So that's the catch. You know, like if there was money, yeah, you can get all kinds of people to play on your record.
Oh, sure.
You call it, hey, I got a few bucks. You know, you want to, you know, send me a solo. You know, do a few bars. You know, oh yeah, absolutely. You know, boom, it's in there the next morning. I do the same thing if I do a session for somebody or something. They'll be like, yeah, I'll pay you. The tracks are done in a couple hours.
How impressed are you though that now in the previous interview, Dan told me that he had 70 to 90 songs that are already written or brought up for Patriarchs in Black, possibly, and for another.
I know, like every day, he's like, "Oh, I came up with another riff. I came up, he's on a tear, and which is great. It's great to be around people that are, prolific like that. To be, to have that ability. I don't have that ability where I could just like, hear a song one time, and just, come up with a drum track for it that's whatever perfect, or I have to like this song today. I mean, for the most part, I guess I'm working pretty quickly on this, because we're not, it isn't something where we have like a lot of time pre-production where we're all, everybody's in a room together and you're hashing out parts and developing a song. So what I've been doing is I've been going to my studio. I do a couple of runs on the song, trying different things, trying to find my place in what he's sending me. And I take it home, listen to it, hear how it sounds, and be like, all right, whatever, that's cool, like, whatever, or this, this needs work here. I need to come up with something here. And so then I'll send the stuff to Dan, this is where I'm at today. What do you think? Is there something, whatever specific that you hear, or, it's something along those lines, which is how I worked with Kenny for years.
Yeah.
That's how we work. Sometimes he'll have something that's, very drum specific for a part. And he'll be like, I want to hear this here in this part or whatever. But for the most part, like 90% of the time, he'll just send me what he has, and he'll tell me, put drums to it. Mm-hmm. And then I'll send him what I've been working on, and then it's either it works or it doesn't, and he'll I'll get that response from either of them. Like, this is cool. This, I'm hearing something different here. In this part of, like, whatever, something needs to change in the chorus or stuff like that. And but it is weird, like, working at such a rapid pace, and I'm certainly not used to it. So it's a new experience that way, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, this has got you on your toes, man, and this has to.
You have to. Yeah, I have to move quickly.
Oh yeah, and plus too, man. I mean, this like bolsters your creativity too, man. I mean, has this helped you out to do some more stuff?
Of course, yeah. That's why I've always done that. Even when I was a kid, I was always playing with different people, and the same thing for no money. Always playing with different people for no money.
Maybe some candy.
But I've always been involved in like multiple projects at the same time, like playing in different bands, and simultaneously. So in a way, like nothing's really changed all that much. Like now the distance between the bands has gotten greater.
Sure. Yeah.
The physical distance where now I'm in another state. There's everybody. Like I play in all these bands. Not one of them is in Texas where I live.
No, they're all over the place.
Nothing. I have nothing. I have no bands here at home.
Well, since we've been in this pandemic for a long time now, do you think this has helped bands that have not been discovered to put more music out, or do you think it's like oversaturated music even more?
I don't know if it's done anything in terms of more or less. Mm-hmm. I know that you've seen a lot of new music coming from all sorts of various artists, and which I guess is cool. There's a lot of new music out there, and it was just, I guess, the way to, while you couldn't do anything, you couldn't go out, you couldn't go to work. Mm-hmm. It was a way to stay active, and it certainly isn't. It certainly gives you something to write a song about. So there's plenty of subject matter in that. And so that was cool. And that's what I did. I spent a lot of time, like working, working on songs.
Have you
go ahead.
Now, I was just going to ask, have you discovered any bands, new bands for you personally during this pandemic that you've liked?
I'd have to say no. It's like not out of stubbornness or anything. I just really haven't been turned on to anything. I haven't been around anybody to say, hey, you should check this band out. Like friends, like you see all kinds of stuff on social media, but 90% of the time I'm, doing something that's more or less specific. I'm not going on Facebook or, Instagram. Oh, let me find a new band today, or, YouTube. That's just not what I do. And I don't know if that's my age or, I have no idea. But I've been more or less just like, what did I do? Yeah, you know what I got turned on to?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I heard a song from Robert Plant and Alison Krauss.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I thought it was new, and the song's like 10 years old. But I've seen that a lot of bands have put out new music. I just really haven't had a chance to just sit down and check it out. The Helicopters put out a new song, and I was pretty excited about that. And I know that their record's coming out very soon.
I don't know if it's just me or if I hadn't just been paying attention, but I pay attention every day because I'm in music. I do this every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It seems like there's more crossover between country and rock and metal, or rock and rap, stuff like that. There's more. It seems like to me there's been more collaboration during this pandemic.
Well, that was the cool thing. That was even I took part in a couple of things where playing covers. Me and Zing did a Danzig song with we did that thing. Was it 2 minutes to late night?
Yeah.
With Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a song with them. I did a song with Steve, with Jordan. Silvertomb played a bunch of stuff for Metal Injection. The live, I don't want to say it was a live stream because we recorded all of our tracks at home,
right.
Mixed it, and then they aired it during this. They were trying to raise money. It was a fundraiser. And I did a song with some people on the West Coast. I did an Ozzy song with the singer from Warrant. Chuck and I from Quiet Riot, and Ira Black. An Ozzy song that was for another fundraiser for the bass player from Adrenaline Mob who passed away.
Right.
And they did a fundraiser for him.
Mm-hmm. That was tragic, man.
For his foundation.
Yeah.
And and then you see stuff like that. You've been seeing, guys like Phil Demmel, who's in Machine Head and playing in Violence again. Phil's playing with, seeing covers of him playing with all kinds of different people throughout the whole pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that, but it wasn't new music. It was like, all these players from different bands doing these, at home collaborations of, like classic, rock and metal songs and stuff. And then, so it was entertaining, it was cool. And it was cool to see, basically everybody was just trying to make lemonade out of the lemons that we were all handed.
Oh yeah. And I've seen a lot of musicians, man, that's gone to YouTube, doing things on YouTube now, and Twitch. And I'm like, that's awesome. I just found a great necklace there. That's awesome. I guess it's all in the name of just keeping active. Yeah, for sure. Because you and myself, I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to a show in a year or so.
Who knew? I had so many shows canceled.
Yeah.
Last year, the year before was destroyed. I was supposed to, when they shut the airlines down at the beginning in March of 2020, I was supposed to fly to New York that day to start Silvertomb rehearsals because we had a tour starting like 2 days after that. And I was like, I saw them announce on the news. I was like, they're going to shut down the airlines. And I was like, if I fly today, I was like, how am I going to get home?
Yeah.
And like, what am I flying to? Is there even going to be a tour happening? Because at that point, nobody really knew what was going on. It was just big question marks everywhere. And then we were supposed to go out with Monster Magnet. And that tour, they were like, it's going to get postponed. And they were talking, like when they were saying that it was just going to be, whatever, shut down for 2 weeks. Yeah. And then it kept on getting longer and longer and longer. And it was like, is the tour getting canceled? Is it getting rescheduled? What's going to happen? And, nobody knew anything. And like Danzig had dates coming up. Quiet Riot had dates, and everything just got destroyed. Mm-hmm. And now here it is. It's amazing that it's 2 years later. I mean, Quiet Riot was able to squeak some shows in 2020, and then 2021 was better. But even that, even with 2021, what happened, we still lost a bunch of shows. A bunch of shows got rescheduled or canceled stuff because of COVID. So you never really knew what was going to happen.
No.
For 2 years, you were going from week to week. It's like, is this going to happen? Is it going to happen? We don't know what's going on. And meanwhile, you're just doing stuff. I was just doing stuff at home just to stay active. I set up a recording, have a recording set up and then tracking drums. And I'm doing lessons, lessons, which I was doing in-person lessons, but before the pandemic. And now I'm doing everything, remote on Skype and stuff like that.
Speaking of Quiet Riot, I was going to ask you this too. We lost Frankie Benelli and Quiet Riot, of course, in 2020. What was your thoughts on coming into drum for Quiet Riot and knowing that band's history? Because they've had Randy Rhodes, now Frankie and all those guys.
Throughout the whole thing, I tried not to think about the history of the band. Because really, like, everything, the whole thing of my involvement with Quiet Riot really started out innocently enough, where Quiet Riot was coming to Dallas, and I knew that Frankie was sick and was getting treatment, and I was surprised to see that he was actually going to go out and play.
Yeah.
So I told Alex, I told him, I was like, look, I said, I know Frankie's sick, whatever. I said, if you want, I'll help Frankie out. I'll keep an eye on him, I'll help him out with his gear, I'll help him set up his kit, stuff like that, so that he could save his energy for the show. So if you need me for anything, I'm there, I'll help out. I'd be more than happy to help. And he was like, all right. He's like, I'll find out and I'll let you know. And it was like another time also. It was like, look, I was like, if it ever got to that situation, and if you needed, somebody to cover or whatever, I was like, I said, I'll cover, I'll help out. Whatever Frankie needs, I'll help him out. Mm-hmm. And so it started out, I was like, yeah, Frankie would like you to be there. It's like, all right, fine, great, And at the time, I was in New York. I was up in New York. And Alex calls me like 2 days before the show. He's like, can you do the show? He's like, Frankie's not gonna make it. He's not up for it. And not using my better judgment, I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do it. I was like, send me a set list. I bought the records on iTunes and stuff. Start cramming. I have to learn like an hour's worth of songs in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
And so I get to the trailer. Now it's the day of the show, and I drive to the show, and I walk in the trailer, and I've met Chuck once or twice. I wouldn't say that we know each other well. And I met Durbin once, James was singing in the band at the time. I open up the trailer and I see Alex, and I was like, this was a terrible idea. I was like, I don't know what I was thinking, but nothing good is going to come from this.
But you pulled it off.
Somehow we pulled it off. And there wasn't, of course, there were mistakes and stuff, but
Sure.
It wasn't perfect by any means. But it was good enough where we were able to get through the show, and it was a fun night. And then after that, then it was very touch and go. It was like, are you available for this show? Are you available for certain dates? Like there were dates where Frankie was going in for chemo. Can you do this show? Can you do that show? Oh, I have to sneeze.
Go ahead. I'll wait.
Now it's gone.
Okay. It'll come back soon. Wait.
Yeah. So then there was a couple of shows in California. Frankie did those shows, which wound up being like his last shows with the band. And then they had Mike Dupke covering also. Mike Dupke played a few shows, and he was playing some of the shows. And then I think he finished out 2019 with them, if I got my dates correct. And then when it got to the end, where Frankie knew, it was getting to that time, and they were making plans for what Quiet Riot was going to be after Frankie passed away. And Frankie was like, call Kelly.
That's cool.
It's just, ask Johnny if he'll do it. And, it felt like, when it got presented that way, now it was like totally different, because before that I was just covering it, just filling in and just playing, Quiet Riot songs and having fun. And, Frankie will be back and they'll be able to do their thing. And I could say that I got to play with Quiet Riot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it became, now I'm in Quiet Riot. And then that's when I started thinking about the history of Quiet Riot. That's when I was like, there's a little bit more to it than just, playing it, playing a couple of gigs. And now with Rudy in the band too, now with Rudy back, it was like, shit, now Rudy's in the band. Rudy Sarzo. And it's like, and it's like, like Chuck's great, and Chuck's part of that history too. And it's like, and now it's like, it changed. It became something different now. And it's, it just seems like there's just more nostalgia, and more of the band's history has now been brought to the forefront. Which in a way I feel bad, because like everything that Rudy Sarzo has done now, he's had this amazing career, and then he's stuck with me.
Out of all the people Johnny Kelly stuck with.
Yeah. He says, you've gone and you've done all these things. And now you're with me.
Oh, you played with Ozzy. You're with me.
Right. But I haven't gotten too fanboy on him.
He's had a phenomenal, crazy career if you look at it, man. Just unbelievable.
The dude played so many years with Tommy Aldridge. The guy's amazing. One of my favorite drummers ever. And now he's the poor guy stuck with me.
Career ending. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
What do you hope everyone takes away while listening to this new single from you guys, man, if anything?
I don't know. I mean, it was like I said, there really wasn't any kind of agenda to it, and it's kind of like just moved so quickly. I'm still absorbing it, and it's something different for me, but not too far off the beaten path. It's not as layered and textured as busy as Typo was. It's more along the lines of kind of like Sabbath, kind of like Danzig-ish with a different vocalist. It's kind of, it seems like it's taken that, where it's like, even though it's just Dan and I, basically everything is a 4-piece band,
Mhm.
with a singer, with the vocals up front. So, but it's cool. I'm having fun with it. That's what I'm doing. I'm having fun. I'm happy to see, people, can, experience that the same as I am.
Do you think we'll ever see anything that's not been released soon from Typo possibly? Have you guys talked about releasing anything that's unreleased?
There isn't any unreleased material.
Okay.
If there was, we try to do something with it, but there isn't anything. Really, like when we were making our records, anything that we had left over got used already. There's a couple of songs that wound up on The Least Worst Of, and from October Rust, the only thing that was left over was Pictures of Matchstick Men, which wound up getting used on the Howard Stern soundtrack, and then Ozzy put a vocal track on it.
There you go, Ozzy.
And so, but these were the things that were left over. And that was when we would work on records, it was really like you can only fit 74 minutes on a CD.
Sure.
So we would work to, all right, we got 75. Okay, great. Or we would have a little bit more, but it was like those songs would get edited down. Like we would work on songs. Some of the songs on Dead Again were even longer than what they were.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got rearranged, like the arrangements were changed up a little bit to fit the 74-minute format. And that was it. There was one cover song from that session. We had done a cover of Bad Moon Rising from CCR, which we used to play it live.
Yeah.
And years ago, we used to play it live. So then we were like, oh, let's, Peter wanted to record it. And we did basic tracks one day. We did a take of it, guitar, bass, drums. Came back into the studio the next day, didn't like what we did, and scrapped it. So it never got completed. There weren't any vocal tracks on it or anything. It was just literally guitar, bass, and drums, and they were bad as far as that went. So, so really, unfortunately, everything that we had, was put out there. Like we weren't the kind of band where it was like, oh, we should record more songs so that we'll have something left over. Like that. We were like, all right, we got enough. Good, that's it. Stop moving ahead.
I always love hearing your stories that you tell me, man, all the time. But I know last time you was telling me about when Typo opened up for Motley Crue on that tour, and the sound guy totally screwed up your all sound. Are there any more stories, man, possibly that?
Every day was a total adventure, because like you never knew. You always thought it was going to end, because it was like, and there was always some kind of like crazy shit that would happen every day, and then that became your norm. That was normal. So like something that most people would think, oh, that's like the craziest thing ever. That, in our world, that was Tuesday.
Yeah. Just normal day.
Yeah. And it was always like some kind of like crazy shit. And it was like, try to, to keep things in perspective, like with my kids and stuff. And it'd be like, you guys don't even know, you don't know any of what I've seen in the last 25 years. I mean, I've done a good job of keeping you away from that, and the less you know, the better. But it's like it's an alternate universe. It's Bizarro Land. And so like something that, for whatever reason, I may see it as like, oh, like, whatever, no big deal. Like, it's like somebody else, like regular people, their heads would be exploding. Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Okay, they're not dead, it's fine. They're going to be okay.
Just
oh
a
my
flesh wound.
God. Yeah.
It's a flesh wound. Walk it off.
Yeah.
Here's your $5. Go get something to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. Man, I always like having you on here. You know that. I love talking with you. But how could folks stay in touch with you personally if they want to find out what you're doing, keeping up with all these bands you're in and things?
I basically use Facebook and I use Instagram. You know, I'm not too involved with Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get more involved in it. I'm in my 50s. You know, I think for somebody in my 50s, I'm doing okay. Like I try not to do things, you know, like get involved in platforms that my kids are in. You know, kids really don't use Facebook, so I'm still using that.
This Patriarch.
But I do. I stay active with those. A little bit of Twitter. Yeah, that's you know, like I'm sure that there's other things out there, but I'm not really on them.
Yeah.
You know,
what about
I'm on Facebook Marketplace most of the time.
What are you selling on there, Johnny Kelly?
I'm not really good at the selling part, but the buying part, I'm a pro.
Johnny Kelly buys everything on Marketplace.
I do. I find all kinds of stuff on there. It's great. But I'm like, you know, and it's like you know, stuff with like drums and tools, you know, and then I'm looking for that diamond in the rough pickup truck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My friend, man, I kick myself in the ass because I'm a sports card collector. I love basketball, football, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. My brother does that.
So here's the kicker, and God, he bought this box set off this boy. I think he bought like 3 boxes of cards. He paid $200 for him. I can't even believe I'm getting ready to say because this breaks my heart.
What was in there?
A Michael Jordan rookie card.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Even I know that's worth a lot of money.
You damn right. Johnny, the raw card itself, he was offered $46,000 for it, and he said, I didn't take it. I said, you are a moron. I would have took $46,000 and said, thank you.
It'll be worth more. Right now, my brother was telling me that since COVID, the market's kind of like it's taking a beating.
No. Oh my God. The cards for a pack of cards now, certain cards are like $40 and $60 a pack. And that's like 6 or 8 cards, dude.
Wow.
Dang, I said, ain't no way.
Oh, right. So they're closed sets. They're sealed so you don't know what's in there.
No, this is regular single pack cards that you can buy and pop open. Now, if you buy like a box of them, say like they call them like shellos, hobby boxes stuff. Now, hobby boxes stuff like that, they're about $300 to $400 a piece, a box. And I'm like, no, still no. My favorite.
And there's something in there that could be worth $40,000.
Yeah, that's just it's like playing
like
lotto. Exactly.
It's like playing lotto. Yeah.
Every time.
But I am aware and kind of familiar with the market. My brother's been into it for a long time. So when I speak to him, he tells me about some of that stuff. I'm always on Facebook looking for gear, microphones, and now that I'm recording, I'm always looking for cheap mics and stuff like that. Yeah, and now it's like like in the house, there's so much like shit everywhere. And it's like I was like, I know I'm never gonna play this thing. I'm never gonna use it. I should sell it.
Don't become a hoarder.
Like sell it and maybe take that money and put it towards something else that I need or whatever. But no, I'll sell that later. I don't have to sell it now. And then I find I gotta have that. Let me get that.
Man, so that's what I've been doing eBay. I just go and like guys I collect, I just go and buy 5 or 6 of their cards, off and just do it that way. So I was like,
I just like I said, it's like drums and like now I'm determined to make good drum tracks like really cheap, really inexpensive.
You can do it. You can do it. How can folks pick up this Patriarchs in Black single and everything that comes out with this, man?
Right now, from what I understand, it's on Bandcamp.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
if you go to the Patriarchs website and if you go to Patriarchs Instagram page, all the info is on there. It's definitely on. Everything's on. Because Dan is really active on Instagram.
Dan's the man.
So that's why I know I have to get more active with Instagram.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do another promo for my show, Johnny?
Yeah, sure. Hey, this is Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative and a lot of other bands, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link. And please, folks, subscribe to our YouTube link because I need the subs. Please. I'm asking. In fact, I'm begging. And get out and check out Patriarchs In Black. Check out their new single. You won't be disappointed. And plus, check out Johnny's stuff that he's done with all these other bands. And they're just check it out, folks. So, man, you're welcome back.
There's always something going on.
You're always welcome back on here. You know that, brother.
Thanks, dude. This is fun.
Yeah, I always fun with you, man. Thank you for doing the interview.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.